Are you having problems in your Saab 9-3 with the intermittent wipe being, well, intermittent? Being inconsistent in terms of its time interval between wipe. Sometimes it'll wipe 2 or 3 times in a row, and sometimes maybe if you so much as touch the stalk without seemingly changing any settings, it just seems to operate randomly. I can help you with that. Stay tuned, follow me through. First thing you want to do is remove the stalk. Now if you look very carefully under the end of the stalk, just there, you'll see that there's a little hole. Take a 2 or a 2.5mm drill or other piece of good strong wire or a small screwdriver and push it into the hole in this direction towards the steering wheel. As you push it in, it'll offer a little bit of resistance, but push it in and then bring it rearwards and you'll find it'll push in a little bit further. Keep bringing it a bit rearwards. Pull it out away from the column and you can remove your wire. Now that you've got the wiper stalk off, you could just buy another second-hand one or even a brand new one if you're feeling flush and fit it into the car, and I'll show you how to refit them in a few moments. But now that you've got it off, you can recondition the internals. This little wheel here operates a series of switches and alters the resistance across 2 of the contacts. So if we take it apart, we can recondition those contacts. Stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to do that. First of all, to take it apart, you'll see that there's a split line across the back and that's where it's clipped together. If you get your nails or a small screwdriver under there, you'll find that if you lift up that edge, it comes apart very easily. Keep moving your screwdriver along and do the same on the other side, and then the 2 halves will come apart. Make sure to bring the wheel with the back half. There are 2 little clips just in there. If you get a little screwdriver and push on one side, it'll come out and then the whole thing will come apart. Well, this is what you should end up with when you get the back half off. And this circuit board, it'll lift out there. Lift it gently by the adjustment wheel. And as you lift up, push the end of the board that way. And there are 2, you can see there are 2 little hooks there that hook into there. So these here are the contacts that make contact inside the sim. But you can now see there's 2 contacts here that contact little squares on a circuit board in there. On the other side of the board there's resistors, and that alters the resistance between those 2 contacts, and that's what causes the intermittent wipe to vary its time interval. The wheel is clipped into place, so just very gently unclip it and away it comes, being very careful not to lose this bit. There's a very tiny spring in there, that's what provides the detents. Now it's not necessary to take the board off the wheel. The back side of the board is plain, and on this side you can see there's a single contact there. These 5 contacts there, as you move the wheel round, change position with that contact, and these pieces here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are little onboard resistors. Now what causes the problem is that with the wiping that happens as these get adjusted many times, the contacts wear ever so slightly, but dirt and grease off your fingers gets on the contacts and it all wears, and then between the tracks you get dirt contamination, and that effectively causes a short between some of these little pads. So what we're going to do now to recondition it is we're going to clean up those contacts and remove that dirt. For that we'll need some cotton buds and some good quality contact cleaner. Now this WD-40 fast drying contact cleaner is good quality and it's fit for this purpose because it leaves no residue. Whatever contact cleaner you get, you must make sure that it leaves no residue. Some contact cleaners have oils and corrosion inhibitors in them. Don't just spray this stuff willy-nilly onto the board. We don't want to soak the resistors. So soak one end of your cotton bud with a little cleaner and very gently rub your cleaner and your cotton bud onto the contacts. You won't be able to tell on the camera unfortunately, but I can see that this white cotton bud has actually picked up some dirt. Clean the contacts here and at the end where it goes into the sim. That has got a lot of dirt on it. And if I show you a magnified picture of this, I'm sure you can now see that the contacts are a lot cleaner than they were previously. Not perfect, but better. Do not be tempted to rub this with any kind of abrasive. Metal polish, wet and dry paper, not even if it's 10,000 grit. The little copper pads on the PCB are coated in gold for its non-corrosive properties, and the slightest abrasion will take the gold off. Once it's all cleaned up, time to put it back together. Put the thumb wheel in straight with the detent in a straight line. Make sure that the two copper legs that make contact with the board go on the correct side of the board. Snap into position. Make sure that the thumb wheel turns properly and that the detent is working. Certainly make sure that you've not lost the spring. Put the board and the copper front side of the stalk, the little hooks there, like so. That lays into place there. Hold that in. Make sure that the copper strips go in the plastic channels and at the bottom here too. Then clip the back half on, start at the thumb wheel end and simply snap together. Make sure that all the clips all the way along have all gone home. Make sure that's not loose and that the thumb wheel turns freely, and hey presto, that's now ready to go back in the car. Now that you've reconditioned your stalk, putting it back in is really easy. Nothing more to do except put the square end into the hole gently and keeping it square, and just push it in and it'll clip into place. Now if that doesn't cure your intermittent operation of your intermittent wipers completely, there are more contacts inside the column integrated module known as the SIM, and to access those you've obviously got to remove the SIM. I'll do a completely different video on removing the SIM because there are other reasons you might want to do that. So watch out for that video. Don't forget, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and you won't miss it. But in the meantime, this video should hopefully help you out in a lot of cases. If you got value out of this video, please give it a like down by the title, and I'll see you next time.